If your balcony cucumbers keep flowering but dropping all their blooms, if the young fruits shrink at the tip and fall off, and if your plants never seem to grow strong, then this video might save your entire harvest. I solved this problem using just two things from my kitchen that most people throw away every single day. Hello everyone! Today, I want to share with you a very real and very special story of mine. The story of a balcony cucumber garden full of heavy fruits, where every single plant is nourished by things that once seemed completely useless in my kitchen: banana peels and eggshells. Before this, I struggled with many problems while growing cucumbers on my balcony. The plants produced lots of flowers, but most of them fell off. The young fruits only grew for a few days before shrinking and dropping. The leaves were pale, and the stems looked weak, even though I watered them regularly every day. At times, I thought the problem was poor soil, or that I didn't have the right fertilizer, or that my balcony didn't get enough sunlight. But one day, while looking at the trash can in my kitchen filled with banana peels after a meal and a bowl of eggshells from breakfast, I suddenly wondered why I was throwing these things away while my plants outside were desperately in need of nutrients. So I started researching, experimenting, and slowly developed a new habit: collecting banana peels and eggshells to use directly as fertilizer for my cucumber plants. At first, I was worried that this would cause bad smells, attract flies and insects, or heat up the soil and damage the roots. But in reality, the opposite happened. When done correctly, everything stays clean, odorless, and the plants grow stronger day by day. Every time I eat bananas, I save the fresh peels instead of leaving them out to rot. I use scissors to cut them into small pieces about 2 to 3 centimeters long so they can decompose faster in the soil and won't clump together. As for the eggshells, I don't need to use a blender or complicated processing. I simply crush them by hand as finely as possible so the calcium can slowly release into the soil over time. These crushed eggshells also have a benefit I did not expect at first. They help reduce snails and crawling insects around the base of the plants, because their sharp edges make it difficult for pests to pass through. After preparing the banana peels and eggshells, I dig a small hole near the base of each cucumber plant, about 10 centimeters deep. I don't dig too deep to avoid damaging the main roots, and I don't dig too shallow to prevent odors and insects. I put the mixture into the hole, cover it carefully with soil, and gently press it down so the soil hugs the surface. Then, I water lightly to keep the soil moist and help start the natural decomposition process underground. This method allows the banana peels to quickly release potassium, an essential nutrient for flowering and fruit development, while the eggshells dissolve slowly and provide calcium to strengthen the roots and stems throughout the growing season. What I love most about this method is that it creates no bad smell, no mess on the balcony, and requires no complicated fermentation or mixing. You simply bury it and let nature do the work. For small spaces like apartment balconies, keeping everything clean and odor-free is extremely important because even a little smell can affect daily life inside the home. After about 1 to 2 weeks of using this method, I began to see very clear changes in my cucumber plants. The leaves became darker green, thicker, and shinier. The stems grew faster, and the tendrils held tightly onto the trellis. Most importantly, the number of female flowers increased significantly, and far fewer flowers dropped compared to before. In the past, each flowering cycle produced only a few fruits. Now, almost every female flower has the chance to develop into a cucumber. The fruits grow quickly, straight and full, with very few misshapen or shriveled tips. Their skins are deep green, and when harvested, they taste crisp, fresh, and never bitter. Every morning when I step onto my balcony and see cucumbers hanging heavily from the vines, I feel truly happy, knowing that all of this came from what I once considered kitchen waste. Growing plants using what my family eats every day has made gardening much more meaningful to me. It is no longer just about growing vegetables, but about creating a small cycle of life, from the kitchen to the garden and back to the family table. I realize that balcony gardening does not require large land, expensive fertilizers, or modern equipment. It only takes patience, observation, and a little creativity in using what we already have. Many people ask me if banana peels and eggshells need to be composted or fermented before burying them. My answer is that it is not necessary. If you want a quick and simple method, you can bury them directly like I do. As long as you cut the banana peels into small pieces, crush the eggshells well to help decomposition. If you have more time, you can dry the eggshells before crushing them to reduce any slight odor. But in practice, once they are buried and covered with soil, the smell almost completely disappears. One important thing to remember is not to bury too much at once around a single plant. Even natural fertilizers can heat up the soil during early decomposition if used in excess. I usually divide the amount and apply it once a week for each plant, so nutrients are supplied gradually without shocking the roots. During rainy periods, or when humidity is high, I reduce the amount to prevent the soil from becoming too wet. Besides cucumbers, I also use this method for tomatoes, chili peppers, gourds, and squash, and the results are very encouraging. The plants grow stronger, suffer fewer pest problems, and produce fruits more consistently. Interestingly, since using banana peels and eggshells, I have almost completely stopped buying chemical fertilizers for my balcony garden. This saves money and gives me peace of mind about the safety of the vegetables my family eats every day. For me, gardening is not only about growing plants, but also about slowing down and observing nature's changes, even in a very small space. Every morning, when I water the plants and watch each leaf, each flower, and each cucumber grow, I feel calmer and less stressed after long working hours. On difficult days, simply standing in front of my green cucumber trellis already lifts my spirit. I believe anyone can do this, whether you live in a high-rise apartment or a small house, as long as you have a few pots, some sunlight, and a willingness to reuse what you would normally throw away in the kitchen. If you don't know where to start, try cucumbers first. They are easy to grow, develop quickly, and give very visible results. When you see the harvest created from banana peels and eggshells that you once threw away, you will feel motivated to continue exploring other sustainable gardening methods. I hope this small story gives you inspiration to look at kitchen waste in a new way, not just as trash, but as a valuable source of nutrition for your garden. If you enjoy simple, low-cost, and eco-friendly gardening like this, please like and subscribe to my YouTube studio channel so you won't miss more helpful tips in the next videos. I wish you a green garden, heavy cucumber harvests, and safe, healthy meals for your family. Thank you so much for listening to my story today. Goodbye, and see you again in the next video.